Hi, welcome. In this video, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the very popular cookie cutter idea of training by way of the sit, down, come, and stay. But the question should be, how are those responses and positions, how are they being painted? How are they being generated by way of motivating dogs the way that the majority of trainers, including balanced dog trainers, how they paint the picture of change? And can you actually trust what you see beyond just positions? And again, this is what makes this system of training totally different than any other system out there. It's based on asking those tough questions at the very beginning, but not just asking the questions, a willingness to go a different path based on truly caring about dogs and owners the right way, based again on following the path of nature by way of how a dog's decision making process is governed. Dogs as social animals, how they connect with us that way. And what I show very clearly is that the problem lies in how this picture is painted with motivating dogs to respond at the very beginning of a relationship problem. And again, I would encourage people to use the parenting example as a foundation of understanding to help people understand why it is that this idea, with how it's applied, doesn't line up for so many dogs and owners. How it is that after you've invested time and money into training, only to discover you haven't achieved the results that you expected, okay, by way of a process. And again, I show very clearly it's how a relationship problem is engaged that way. When you're already experiencing an ongoing relationship problem, the dog's already gained a level of control. You're faded out, as I describe it, in terms of how a dog perceives you that way. And again, this will come out through different. Again, you look at how a dog is responding even on the walk when you're trying to get your dog to walk beside you on the leash, bring your dog under a level of control. You'll start to see it. You start to struggle in certain things because it all points towards reconciling perceptions of dogs that way. And again, just like context is established by way of my parenting example, when again, not when your child's playing their video games and hanging out. It's when you put a demand on them, a reasonable demand, to the example you use, take the garbage out, but not for $100 because you're the parent. That's when parental influence starts to come online. That's when you'll see, again, paying attention, being to reconcile the response. And again, this is the problem in the dog training world. Trainers walk into a situation, they're filtering everything through appearances. They're assuming things that more often not just simply aren't true regarding a dog's responses. They're just looking at responses and positions a certain way, and they're assuming things which more often not just simply are wrong about perceptions of dogs, how the perceptions of dogs are attaching to the human. So again, I'd really encourage people to think about what I'm saying. This system of training was developed again on asking those tough questions many years ago, looking around, seeing that the dog training world is just inherently overrun with those who come into agreement with this idea. And again, you look at the problems happening right now. Everything points directly towards what I'm saying. So again, I would encourage you as a dog owner to ask the questions that these trainers absolutely refuse to ask. Understand the dog training world right now is at a certain place in time where they're not going to change. I mean, because they've already sold out. They're making money off of this idea. Very easy to do, but it's at the expense of dogs, of in terms of relationship. Understand there's always consequences. So, and they just move on. And again, when you put the questions to them, they don't want to answer them because they can't answer them. What are they going to say if you've already put up 4,000 videos and written your books? Well, they're not offering refunds. People have to understand they're not going to offer. They're not going to admit fault when I show very clearly it's this idea. It's how it's applied. So again, I would encourage you as a dog owner to ask those questions, step back from it, think about the parenting example, think about how these trainers are building the picture, the way that they're doing it. And again, this is why you get a dog on the leash, interact a certain way, you'll see it right before your eyes. You'll see this idea fall to pieces. So again, there's a reason why I do. I go through a sequence to make sure that the relationship is cleaning up properly first, and then, all the fun things can begin, but not before cleaning up the relationship first. So again, it's reconciling your role In the relationship, the system of training reconciles the role of influence and it follows the right path. Thanks for watching.